So humbled and happy to be here and to hear from you, Jane, as well as my fellow Karama leaders. Um, I have one brief comment and a question. My comment is basically about you've been arrested for your activism several times, and that brings up a case that I am carrying every day in my life of a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, who's an activist, a Saudi activist, Loujain Al-Hathloul. She's in jail since May 2018. She used, as you did, her fame, her social status, to talk about Saudi women and their rights against the male guardianship and for the right of women to drive. So, I mean, I have a lot of hope for Loujain when I see you standing here and talking after years of activism that she will be free soon. I know she's going through tough times, and I couldn't leave this moment to not bring her up because she would have been with us here if she was not in jail. So thank you so much for this hope that you're giving me. And my question would be actually about your activism, being a white American and talking about the Afro-Americans or the Black Americans is a huge thing. I followed briefly what you did in the Black Lives Matter movement. I am so I would say, in appreciation for what you did, for using your platform for this. And honestly, I would think that how can we, my question is, how can we really use white people in a way to advocate the Black people and their struggle and their existence? Basically, it's not a US problem as we've seen with the George Floyd protests. It's a global problem. We've seen protests here in Tunisia as well. And we've seen a lot of changes as a result of this, but they are not radical changes. How can people like you and using different platforms and different movements, how can they influence really policies to change in a way that the Black people, they are less oppressed, no longer oppressed, I would say, and they are given more room actually and more opportunities. Thank you so much in advance.
Would you tell your friend that I virtually wrap my arms around her and hold her in sisterhood? I'm proud of her courage, and I hope she'll stay strong. Okay. I said there was something good that came out of this horror that is Donald Trump. And one of them is many people didn't realize how racism is still alive and well in this country. I mean, huge white supremacy. When Trump was elected, I realized that I didn't understand enough. I thought I did. And so the first thing that I would advise white people to do is to study. There's so many books that I'm talking about the United States now. I don't know what the situation is in your country, but in this country, you can study the slavery and Jim Crow and Reconstruction and mass incarceration and try to. I could never put myself in the shoes of someone who went through that, but I can understand what it was that they were subjected to, what it was that held them down, what it was that was taken from them besides the physical brutality. So I've spent 3 years really doing a lot of studying and then asking questions and understanding that white people should be quiet and listen and not tell people of color what they think they should do. We have no idea, us white people, what a Black person should do. We may think we do, but You know, I was on a television show the other day called The View, and one of the very, very nice women on The View asked me, you know, she said, I don't agree with this demand to defund the police. And I said, well, Joy, you and I are white. And right now we just have to be quiet and listen. That's the most important thing for us to do. And when we are asked to step up, we have to do that. And we must always be sure that every organization that we're a part of, every meeting that we're a part of, has people of color present. You know, for all of the 4 months of Fire Drill Fridays, my action on behalf of the climate crisis, and now we've continued for 8 months online, we never, ever, ever have a panel or a stage filled with white people or men. It's always diverse in age, diverse in race and ethnicity, always. And I've written a book about it, and you can see in the pictures, and people comment to me, wow, they're not used to seeing Black faces, brown faces, young Black faces and brown faces. And it really makes a difference